Here is Nikki Haley.
To so many of the women and girls out there who put their faith in our campaign, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for God will be with you wherever you go. In this campaign, I have seen our country's greatness. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, America. God bless you.
Wait. No, what happened?
She nailed it.
Nailed it. That was
wow. That was riveting.
Wow, what
now
happened?
She's
there,
walking off
Sarah?
stage.
She's walking off stage. We missed, obviously, some of her speech. Which,
Wait, she might still be in. I don't know. We never heard her drop out.
Yeah.
I think.
Shoot. She congratulated Trump, but she didn't endorse him, which, I guess makes sense, I guess. Maybe on the first day, but...
Yeah, I mean, look, if she wanted to endorse him, she'd endorse him, right? I think she didn't want to endorse him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is who she... Look, this is consistent with the campaign she's run.
Consistent with somebody that wants to be on the board of Raytheon. It is absolutely consistent with that.
But that is her path forward, right?
Know,
like, I mean,
again,
it's a good gig, I'm sure. But it does... she's not running to be the vice president. She's not running to be the UN ambassador again. She made a decision that she was going to go a different direction there. And like I will say, like you mentioned the unity thing, and of course this is what everybody says, right? Like, we got to bring everybody together now. But it is important to note that while Nikki Haley's faction of the Republican Party is not the majority faction, as we saw very clearly last night, it was not close.
It's weird because it still is in Congress, but it's
yeah, maybe I don't know.
Well, let's see if John Cornyn becomes the Speaker of the Senate.
God, please help us. Please help us.
I know.
But again, just because someone has power at the top does not mean they're a majority of the Senate. But you're right. I mean, I think there's a higher representation of that faction in elected government, which makes sense. These people have been in government for 40 or 50 years.
Correct.
Of course, those are the people who get to the top of the power structure. But like, you also can't just say, hey, screw those people, because I got news for you. You don't win any national elections without them. You will not win any national elections without the Nikki Haley faction of the Republican Party voting for, let's say, Donald Trump, who's going to be the nominee. If you don't have them, which, by the way, Trump was able to get in 2016 and got most of them in 2020 as well.
And 20% of those who voted for Biden in 2020 say they will vote for Trump.
Yeah, and you're going to get some of those people too. But just talking, you also need the full base. And part of the base is the 30% of people who voted for Nikki Haley in these states. They do exist. They are still important to a Donald Trump victory. So, if you kind of do the thing where you're like, well, you know what? If you're a McCain supporter, get out. Well, it doesn't work well. You do need those people, even if you don't necessarily have to bend to their position statements. You need to find a way to pull them in if you want to win these elections.
I agree with you. Just don't bend to their positions.
Yeah. Like if you start saying, oh, we're going to throw $200 billion at Ukraine to win over Nikki Haley supporters, that's a bad idea. You got to keep your principles.
Correct.
And that's not seemingly what Donald Trump wants to do, although he's mentioned some of that.
I would really think that I don't know. I used to be a pretty good judge of the American people. Don't you think? I can pretty much. I don't know if I can anymore.
Yeah, it's harder now.
I just don't know. I was going to say, I think the people who voted for Haley will end up voting for Trump just because the alternative is Hillary Clinton. Everything that we said Hillary Clinton would do, they're doing, in fact, on steroids. So why wouldn't there be that passion to make sure that he doesn't get, because we're done.
And these things tend to have a cooling effect, right? You have 8 months until this election. Ron DeSantis is another great example. I mean, think of the things Trump said about Ron DeSantis in this campaign. What percentage of Ron DeSantis voters do you think vote for Donald Trump in the end? 97, 95?
I think 100, including him and his wife.
Yeah. He's already endorsed them, right?
Yeah.
Like, these things cool over time. You got 8 months to pull this out. You're going to see Joe Biden on stage talking about how he wants to turn the country into a socialist republic for 8 months. Most of the people who have a Nikki Haley vision of the country are going to say, well, I'm down to 2 people. I got to pick one of them. I don't want Joe Biden. I think that's the majority. You will see, by the way, in some of the exit polls today, that large chunks of Nikki Haley voters are saying today that they will not vote for Donald Trump. You got to remember, when you look at those numbers, a lot of those people are Democrats who came into open primaries. Some of those people are independents who were probably left-leaners and never really considered a Donald Trump or Republican vote in the first place. And some of them are just disaffected people who are annoyed at what Trump supporters tell them online, or what Donald Trump says, or how Nikki Haley they don't believe got a fair shot. Whatever the reason is, a lot of those people wind up coming home in the end.
People came.
Most of them came home.
In North Carolina, 35% of GOP primary voters said they won't guarantee their vote for Trump, along with 36% in Virginia, 33% in California. The total is significantly higher among Haley primary voters, 78% in North Carolina, 69 California, 68 in Virginia won't guarantee their support for the party's nominee. The overwhelming number of Haley voters who refuse to commit to supporting Trump may not be that big of a problem, as a large number of them were Democrats crossing over. So you wouldn't... you would
a large number of them, but
you would expect that.
Yeah, of course. If you're a Democrat just trying to sow chaos in the Republican primary,
the people who gave her, $100 million or whatever they gave her for her campaign, they were Democrats. You think Reid Hoffman's going to actually? Right. She could have gotten the nomination, and he would be like, "I'm voting for Biden."
Yes, yeah. If she got the nomination, he would have voted for Biden.
Yes. So let me just play a clip from what she just said.
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for president. When I began, I said the campaign was grounded in my love for our country. Just last week, my mother, a first-generation immigrant, got to vote for her daughter for president. Only in America. I am filled with the gratitude for the outpouring of support we've received from all across our great country. But the time has now come to suspend my campaign. I said I wanted Americans to have their voices heard. I have done that. I have no regrets. And although I will no longer be a candidate, I will not stop using my voice for the things I believe in.
Okay, I think that was, that was good.
Yeah, and I don't,
I don't falter.
Why not? You've already entered the race. You've gone through this. You have the money to do it. You got to a place where you were competitive in New Hampshire, and then you had to make a decision. Do I drop out right now, or do I look at my home state, which is basically next in line in a month? I ride out a month. That could be tough. Take a shot at it. If you don't get it, you don't get it, but you're a week away from Super Tuesday. She let it ride to Super Tuesday, and she drops out. This does nothing to hurt Donald Trump's campaign. Nothing that she did hurt Donald Trump's campaign. No. Donald Trump did not need to campaign against her to win all of these states,
the
obviously.
Only thing I have on Nikki Haley, I disagree with her on a few things.
Sure. But she was a good governor.
She was a good governor, and I like her. Personally, I like her.
Yeah.
But I didn't agree with her on the war, her approach for that. I didn't agree with her. I said really clearly, if you don't know what ESG is, then I can't vote for you. And I did my first interview for a nominee was Nikki. She didn't know what ESG was. She danced around it. She knew a little bit, but it wasn't key to her. So I couldn't vote for her. I'm telling you this now. Anybody who listened to that interview and knew what I had said on the air before would have known. But so I had some policy differences with her. The only real problem that I had was taking money from the Uber left.
Yeah, I think that's
didn't like that.
Now, most of that money came to her super PACs, which she cannot control.
Correct.
Now, obviously, everyone likes getting money in politics, and she, of course, I'm sure appreciated the ads they ran, but also could, to be clear, could not block that money.
No, but
legally.
She welcomed it.
she
She
said basically like I took the money. Well, Ron wanted it, and now he doesn't have it. I got it. Like I mean, she tried to use it as a talking point. And some of that money was not from the hardcore leftists, you know, like the Koch brothers, and of course we always say the Koch brothers. One of them's dead. Okay, the other one, he's not really spending any money right now,
but he's still voting in Illinois.
Right,
strangely,
yeah. But you know, he's more obviously a libertarian. There was a bunch of money that came in that was just anti-Trump money from various sources. Some on the right, some libertarians, some on the left. But the end of this story is like, look, she is a qualified candidate that absolutely had a place in the race. Mm-hmm. It's just her vision of where the Republican Party going is no longer the majority of vision.
It is so strange because she was a Tea Party person.
But she was always, I think, strong on defense.
Yes,
and that's why she was one of the reasons she was a good ambassador.
Right,
is because she had those viewpoints.
She was a great ambassador.
Yeah,
I would have her as an ambassador any day of the week.
And so, like, you know, look, she didn't connect with it. I will say, in her defense, you know, because obviously she's been getting trashed by everybody for weeks and weeks and weeks. In her defense, unlike many other politicians, that issue was key to her. And foreign defense, Ukraine, all those things. She knew it was unpopular in the party, and she did not waver from it at all. She came out and made the arguments the best that she could in public over and over again to a Republican audience that was not particularly receptive. She tried. It didn't work, but she didn't back off of it. She didn't. Some of her other stuff, like, you know, the abortion thing, I don't know where she was on that. She seemed to be all over the place.
Yeah.
But that one particular issue, she was very strong on, and she stuck by it even when it probably meant she had no chance to win the primary.
Yeah.
So you give her credit for somebody sticking by your views. I'm fine with that. You want to go down in flames because you believe something that the voters don't believe?
I have respect.
That's the way to go down in flames.
I have much more respect for that than somebody who would twist their viewpoint. So look, I feel tension between Nikki Haley and this program because we didn't get on board, and she is a friend. I don't know if that's true. That's just what we have felt. I hope that is not true. But I wasn't going to endorse anybody this primary season. Not going to do it. I would have voted for any of them over this guy. And it looks like Donald Trump is the guy. I'm voting for Donald Trump. So now that we've fought this, I hope that the Ron DeSantis voters and the Nikki Haley voters will come to the conclusion that, yeah, it's not your guy. But I don't think we have anybody on any side that everybody's like, I'm 100. I don't even think Jill Biden is for Joe Biden 100%. Now that we've fought this race and we have our people darn near picked, we need to come back together and focus on what we are for. And unfortunately, Joe Biden is not for the same things. He's for a completely different America. He said the first time around he was for, you know, normalcy, a return to normalcy, a return to, you know, being together as a country. And, well, that didn't happen. None of this is normal. None of this is normal. And it's not the Republicans this time. It is the policies of Joe Biden. And he might be a fine, affable old man, but his policies are not fine or affable. They are a danger to the Republic. Now let's see if we can all come back together, lick the wounds, help each other heal, and come together and fight the good fight for the Republic.